Okay, so this video is it's about making your machine work. Specifically trying to pick up fluid when you can't. And that's usually because the balls in the valve, there's two of them, most guys know about this one, are stuck. So this is what we're going to do. So first, I'm doing this with one hand, so forgive the shaking cam. So you'll take that right off, you grab your hammer, take that right off. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to hit this, and then try to take this right off. Now, you see, just going to inspect the ball, there's the ball. It's moving freely. Now if parts fall out, these are what's going to fall out. There's 3 pieces. Don't lose this piece. This is $150, but it goes in like this. Seat, ball, and then cage. And that's clean. Second thing you're going to do, you see this in here, there's a second ball. And you're going to poke it. Kind of hear it actually. Okay, so when you get both balls free, it's like having both doors open, and then stuff can finally come through. So you're going to put that right in there. You're going to screw that back on. You're going to hit it tight with a hammer. You're going to put your pickup line back on. Alright. There you go. Now we're going to fire this bad boy right up. Now there is a process of priming this machine which you should follow. Basically, you want to purge your machine to get all the air out. Because the way this ball moves is with the weight of paint. If you got air in here, nothing's pushing on that ball. If nothing's pushing on that ball, the valve won't close and nothing will pressure up. So you have to purge the air out of this machine. So the first thing we're going to do is this. We're going to have that open. We're just going to prime through this line. We're going to wait for bubbles. You see the bubbles? That's a good thing. Next we're going to wait for fluid. Alright? So there's fluid. Next, we're going to purge everything through the gun as soon as I find it. Okay, because there's still air inside the lines. In order for this to work properly, you can't have air inside. So you're going to purge all the air. Now you might see air come out the nozzle, you might not, because the prime valve, or priming through the prime valve, might have taken out all the air. Because this is 100 feet of line, it's going to take twice as long to purge all the air out. But we're going to do that. Sorry, video cut off. So we've just got fluid coming out of there. Now we're going to purge all the fluid out of here. Okay? So what you're going to do is pressure it up like that. And then, oh my god. Then you're going to shoot all the fluid. Now you might not see any bubbles come out. And if you have 100 foot of line, it's kind of hard. So you're just going to have to wait it out patiently. But what you can do is lift this right out if it's just water. Okay, so it's out, it's sucking in some air, and then I'm going to put it down. Eventually the air is going to come out the gun. Now, air and water is fine. I can actually push out water with air. You just can't push everything out when there's paint and air inside the lines. So there's 100 foot, there's still a lot more line to go through, but eventually you should see the air. Eventually. 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 Now if you're using 2 lengths of hose, just, there it is. See all that air? It's coming out now? Now it's fully primed, because you've got all the air out. Now if you use 2 lengths of hose, it's going to make your machine work harder, because it's now pushing almost a full gallon of paint through these lines. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be twice the wear that's happening. Now we're just going to let this pressure up. And And it will take a little bit longer to pressure up because, again, 100 feet of hose. Yes. But if you cannot get anything to pump, it's because these chambers are either locked. They're locked because the ball has dried to the seat, because the paint was dried, wasn't cleaned out, or there's air inside and the paint's just not letting the ball move up and down. As you can see, it's nice, it's pressured up, and it's good to go. So yeah, anytime you can't pick up fluid and it's a fairly new machine, or it's just like a half-year old, or if it was working the day before and it's just not working the next, it's probably because these two valves. So if you can remember how to poke up and clean this and get it started, you're fine. I would always suggest, before you start the job, try your machine out with water. Because if you put this in paint and it doesn't start, now you got to track this through the house or the lawn, and you don't want to deal with another monkey wrench. So always try it with water. When you get it with water, it's almost like it's conditioned and stuff can flow through it too. So yeah, please, prime your machines. It will work better. You just got to get all that air out. Alright? Thank you. This is a part I just forgot. Okay, so let's just say you did my trick just to get that unclogged. You went inside, poked that ball up here, cleaned that ball right here, and it's still not picking up. It could be because this line has thick paint, so thick it can't push it out the prime valve. Alright? And it might be that this line has thick paint, so it can't purge out of there either. So you're going to ask yourself, how do I purge this machine to get this thing pressured up? So, here's what you're going to do. Because this could be potentially clogged, and this, maybe not dry clogged, maybe just too thick of a paint. You're going to do this. You're going to take your filter right off. Okay, and then you're going to set it down, okay? And then, you're not going to look directly into it because stuff might shoot out. But what you're going to do is you're going to slowly have it rotate slowly. You're going to watch that bubble. Okay? And that bubble is normal. Eventually it's going to rise though. When it rises, it's because the chamber down there is finally full. And there it is. You might want to have a rag around that like this, just so it doesn't get on the box. But that's how you purge when that is clogged. Now I'm going to show you how big of a hole that this prime valve has to push paint through. So this piece is right there. That's the hole you're trying to push everything through. That is how you're going to bypass it easily. You see? So remember that trick too. If this doesn't want to pump through, then you're going to go like this. If that doesn't rise and these are clear, it means somewhere between this pump, and there's a hose down there, you see this hose, that could be the clog. Could be a clog right here. But essentially, there is something preventing it from pumping from this cylinder right there. There's where it comes through. It follows that hose all around the machine right there. If it still doesn't want to come up through here, it's probably because there's probably a clog somewhere around here. Something more major. In that case, take it to the shop. If you're continuously going to try to fix this, you're not going to get fluid up here. This is going to heat up. You can actually feel it if it doesn't work, and if it feels warm, stop, because the packings inside are plastic and they're going to start to warp and melt. So you want to make sure that if it's not going, just feel it. If it's warm, just stop what you're doing, let it cool down, or take it to a shop. Now that's the last trick I want to show you in regards of getting this thing to pump. Okay? Thank you. So this is a continuation of the video. I just saw the last part. I forgot to add to it. Different machine, but the same pump and the same way it works. So I believe the last part was, we were left at was purging everything out of this little filter manifold right here, because this right here, your prime valve, might be clogged, or at least this, where you normally purge out of, might have too thick paint, as well as your gun might have too thick of a paint. So you're probably going to wonder how to purge it. This is how we're going to purge it. So you're going to take your filter manifold right off. Okay, that's just going to purge the air. And now what you're going to do is you're going to go slow and just watch that fluid rise. Alright. It's gonna rise sooner or later. There it is. Okay, so now that you got that going, it means that this pump is fully saturated with the fluid. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to put this right back, and we're going to shoot everything out the line, because this is the part I forgot. I just ended up saying, oh yeah, just purge everything out of here, so you're probably going to wonder what to do next. This part might get messy, so just be warned, just warning you. And you wouldn't have to do this last part if you cleaned your machine out. But assuming it's not too thick, it's not going to be that bad. So if it's a thick paint but just not dry paint, you're going to see some spits coming out of there. So that's fine. And afterwards, if you get something coming through here, that's fine. Shoot everything out your gun. Just let it build up with pressure, and then shoot. It's going to be messy, so be careful. You might want to watch some, wear some splash goggles or whatnot. And yeah, that's how you unclog it, by purging through the filter cap. That's the last part I wanted to kind of show you, because you know, it's the messy part. You know, it's just going to make a bigger mess. But once you do clean your machine out regularly, you won't have to deal with such a mess. Okay, thank you. Bye.